I always believed that I had the best neighbors. The Johnsons, with their perpetual smiles and ever-ready helping hands, were the epitome of ideal neighbors. Our neighborhood, a quaint, peaceful haven, seemed all the more charming with their presence. Little did I know, this reception was about to shatter. It was a lazy Sunday afternoon when I decided to declutter the attic. Amidst the dusty boxes and old furniture, I found a stack of ancient newspapers. The top one, yellowed with age, had a headline that caught my eye. Family of con artists arrested for string of frauds. I would have skimmed past it if not for the accompanying photo. A younger Mr. and Mrs. Johnson staring back at me. I felt my heart race as I sat down, the newspaper trembling in my hands. The article detailed a series of elaborate scams, thefts, and extortions that spanned several states. The Johnsons, it seemed, were not the simple, kind-hearted folks they claimed to be. They were, in fact, master manipulators with a dark past. As I absorbed the details of their crimes, fake identities swindling innocent people, evading law enforcement, a sense of betrayal engulfed me. I had trusted them, welcomed them into my home, and now the reality of who they were left a bitter taste in my mouth. The following days were a blur of confusion and paranoia. Each friendly wave or casual conversation with the Johnsons felt loaded with deceit. I struggled with the decision of confronting them or going to the authorities. But what if the article was a mistake? What if they had changed? My dilemma deepened as I observed them. They continued their lives as if nothing was amiss, hosting neighborhood barbecues, attending PTA meetings, always with those disarming smiles. But now every gesture seemed calculated, every word laced with hidden meanings. I decided to delve deeper and started digging into their past. The more I found, the clearer it became that their criminal activities were extensive. Yet, there was no evidence of any recent wrongdoings. It was as if they had completely turned over a new leaf in our little town. Torn between exposing their past and the possibility of their reformation, I confided in a close friend. She was equally shocked but advised caution. People can change, she said, but they can also revert to old habits. Be careful. One evening, as I sat pondering over my next move, there was a knock on my door. It was Mr. Johnson, his eyes weary, his smile gone. "We need to talk," he said, a hint of resignation in his voice. It seemed my internal turmoil had been reflected in my behavior more than I realized. The conversation that followed was heart-wrenching. Mr. Johnson spoke of their troubled past, the mistakes they made, and the life they had tried to rebuild here. They were not proud of their history, but they were trying to make amends. As he left, I was left in a quandary, to hold on to their past or to accept the possibility of change. The Johnsons, once the epitome of perfect neighbors, had now become a complex puzzle, a mix of past sins and present virtues, leaving me to ponder the true nature of redemption and trust. The days following our conversation were heavy with reflection. I watched the Johnsons with a newfound understanding, yet doubts lingered. Their past was a stark contrast to the people I had known for years. The neighborhood, once a symbol of tranquility, now felt like a stage for an elaborate act. I began to notice small inconsistencies in their stories, moments where their facade seemed to crack, revealing glimpses of the people they once were. It was disconcerting, like watching a familiar scene unravel into something unrecognizable. These observations only added to my internal conflict. One afternoon, Mrs. Johnson invited me over for coffee. The air was thick with unspoken words as we sat in their perfectly kept living room. She spoke hesitantly about their desire for a fresh start, her eyes betraying a vulnerability I had never seen before. It was a moment that humanized them beyond the labels of their past. I started to question the notion of identity. With the Johnsons, the sum of their past actions, Or had they truly transformed? My own judgments and prejudices came under scrutiny. It was a moral quandary, challenging my beliefs about forgiveness and the capacity for change. The story culminates with a neighborhood event, where the Johnsons are once again at the center of community activities. I watch them, a mix of admiration and suspicion in my gaze. They laugh, engage, and contribute, seemingly at ease with their surroundings, yet the knowledge of their past looms, or with a gathering like a silent specter,